again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this lovely poncho. This is the Peephole poncho, and the reason why I call that is because it is based off of the Peephole stitch, and I also did a Peephole shawl quite a while back, and I thought, let's do a poncho. It's about time. We are approaching, cooler weather, and this I absolutely love. It's light and lacy, but it is a layer, and it'll keep you nice and toasty woasty. Yeah. And so for this particular project, I used mandala bonus bundles. Sorry for the tag, it's a little bit ripped. And it is in the colorway of Centaur. I love autumn, fall, earth tones, and this one was right up my alley. And I didn't even use an entire one of these. By the way, this video is not sponsored, but I always like to let you know what it is that I use in case if you want to duplicate the results. There's a lot of yardage on this sucker. It is 1,181 yards, and I had this much left over. Yep. And also, here's my hook. And I used a 5.5 millimeter size I crochet hook. Now the yarn is a weight of 3. Typically I would use a size H, a 5 millimeter. However, I wanted this to be nice and drapey, so I went up a hook size. Do whatever works best for you by all means, but the length, yes, the yardage of this yarn I found was perfect for what I wanted to do. Now, that being said, usually I start my videos with a, right, we're going to start with our base chain. Well, we are going to do that right now. Now, for the neckline, okay, this is very subjective as to where you want your neckline to be. Me, personally, I like it to be not too close to my neck necessarily, but also I don't want it falling off my shoulders either. So you are going to have to do a little bit of fiddling and finagling as to your number of chains. However, as always, I do try to give you a multiple to work off of, and this is no exception. So for this particular stitch for the poncho, for the base chain, you're going to need a multiple of 8 chains and go based off of that. Now, what I would recommend is when you have your base chain, slip stitch to join, and then put that ring over your head and position it such that half is in the front and half is in the back, because that's how your garment is going to drape in the end. Otherwise, if it's further down in the front, it's going to be really up high in the back, and that's not necessarily how you're going to want to wear it. However you do, just do what works for you. So that being said, for me, I found that 12 multiples of 8 chains, which is 96 chains for me, based on this weight of yarn and this hook size, 96 chains, it gave me this size aperture at the top here, which I think works out well for me. You may need to tweak it a little bit. As long as you have a multiple of 8, though, you're golden. And then, we can go from there, utilizing the increases down the center spine of the front and the back. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is so easy. It's only a 2-round repeat. It works up super duper fast because you're working into stitch spaces as opposed to working into stitches. So it works up super duper fast. And with that being said, and all of my yammering out of the way, let's get started, shall we? Okay. All right, so starting at the beginning with round 1. Now, for my example piece, I decided not to go with the full 96 chains. I decided to go with a smaller multiple of 8. So right here, I have a total of 32 chains. And I'm going to show you how to do the join and do the first round and so on and so forth. Now, the trick with joining, if any of you have worked in the round before, you need to make sure that your chain is not twisted, because otherwise you would end up with a Mobius strip, and, well, it would create a different shape altogether. So we need to avoid any twisting of our initial chain and making sure that you see all of the V's all nice and pretty and no twisty twisties. And going to work my way down the chain, making sure that we have no twists going on in here, and then turning the chain. It's still facing us, but turning the chain so that we still have the V's presented to us. Now, there are a number of different ways that you can do the join and the stitches thereafter. Personally, for the sake of ease, I'm going to go into that top of the V, that loop there. You could also go underneath both loops of the V, or you could go underneath the back bump of the V. Personally, I find that going under the top loop is just fine, and it works out for our purposes. So underneath that top loop of the V, going to do a slip stitch. Just pull the yarn through and then pull the yarn through there. So we have our join right here. And then for the first round, going to start off by chaining up 1 and doing a single crochet into that same stitch. And then into every chain all the way around. For me, it's going to be 32. Going to do my single crochets into each chain all the way around, and then going to do a slip stitch join to the first single crochet that we did, and that will be the end of round 1. So what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to work my way, and then when I'm about finished with the round, I'm going to meet back up with you and show you how to finish it up. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I did 30 single crochets. I've just got 2 left, as you can see. And also, at this point, before doing the actual slip stitch join, you want to make sure, again, that your piece is not twisted. Because after you keep going, you're not going to be able to, fix that unless if you frog back to this point. So I'm going to do my last 2 single crochet stitches. Almost had it. There we go. And then one more. Alrighty. And then into this single crochet, slip stitch underneath both legs of the V, go in and pull through. And there you go. So we have an enclosed ring. And next round, well, we're going to start in on some of the fun stuff. All right. Round 2. Now, we're not up to the repeat yet. We're getting there. Right now, we're going to be doing, it's sort of a preliminary round before the actual repeating starts. So to work off of these single crochets, we're going to start by chaining up 1, single crochet into that first stitch once again. And then from here, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then single crochet into the next 2. So skipping 2, and then into the 3rd and 4th, so to speak, single crochet, and single crochet into the next. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 2 singles, single into the next 2. There we are. Chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 2, single into the next 2, and so on and so forth for the rest of the round. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 2, single in the next 2. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 2, single in the next 2. Pull out a little bit more yarn as necessary. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 2, single into the next 2. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 2, single in the next 2. And we are almost there. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 2. This one, and then we've got 1 stitch left over, which is perfect for us. So skipping those 2, going into that 3rd one. There we are. Single crochet. And then slip stitch into that 1st single crochet that we did. And that is the end of row 2. And also I'm going to slip stitch into this chain space in preparation for round 3. And now, just to give you a little bit of backstory, initially the peephole stitch, it calls for 4 stitches in between your single crochets. And I was working that, but the problem is that then the collar, it stood straight up like a turtleneck. And it didn't quite work out very well. However, by having only 2 stitches that we're skipping, and we're still maintaining a chaining of 4, this actually, it creates sort of an increase in the structure based on the next round. It may not make a heck of a lot of sense at the moment, but hopefully it will after we do a round or 2, and you can actually see the shaping from the neckline working its way down into the body of the piece. But just, a little bit of creative backstory as far as how my process goes. That being said, let's scoot on over to round 3. Okay, so for round 3, getting into the fun stuff, where we create clusters for the center spine on the back and on the front, and then a bunch in between. Now, figuring out how many you need to do, well, we have 32 stitches was our beginning point, right? 32. 8 times 4 is 32. So, because it's 4, we have 1, which is going to be our center spine, and then 3 more for a total of 4, and then another one for the spine, and then 3 more for a total of 4. I hope that that makes sense. So going to start off by chaining up 2, 1, 2. That's going to be our first double crochet. Add another double crochet. So we've got 2 doubles, then chain 2, 2 more doubles into that same chain space, chain 2, 2 more doubles into the chain space. And this, like I said, this is going to be our back spine. From here, going into the next chain 4 space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, next chain space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, two doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, there. And so right now we have a total of 3. We've got 1, 2, 3. We need one more. 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. Okay, now, because like I said, 8 times 4 is 32, so we've got 4 groupings on this side. Then it's in this space right here, we're going to do another spine. So into this space, it's 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. So it's 3 of our pairings of doubles. So 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. And this is going to be the front spine. And then we should have 1, 2, 3 left over, and that is going to be the opposite side. So as you can see, this is going to be the back, this is going to be the front, and just going to keep going around and around, but increasing at the center spine of the front and the back only. So from here, let's do the next 3. So that's 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, all right, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, last space, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. All right, then to finish up the round, going to slip stitch into the second chain from the bottom of that first double that we did, like so. Slip stitch into there, slip stitch into the next double, and slip stitch into the chain 2 space. And there you are. So that is round 3. Okay, round 4. Before we get into round 4, here is a little trick that I would recommend. Stitch markers. These are particularly helpful, especially because so much of this looks the same. Adding a stitch marker really, really does help. Or, a piece of yarn, what have you. So we've got our 3 pairs of doubles. In between the first and second of these doubles, insert your stitch marker, close it on up. There we go. And this is going to mark one of our spines. And then heading over to the back, we have the other spine, the 3 pairs. So in the middle of that second pair, add your stitch marker. Now, is this absolutely necessary? No, but it doesn't hurt, so might as well. Okay, now for actually doing round 4. And this is the beginning of the 2-round repeat. So into this space here, I'm going to start off by chaining up 1 and single crocheting into the space. From here, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next space, scooch the marker out of the way. Next space, 2 single crochets. It's 1 and 2. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, chain 2 space, 2 single crochets. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, chain 2 space, 2 single crochets. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, chain 2 space, 2 single crochets. So for every chain 2 space, 2 single crochets, and then you chain 4. It's really that easy. Now we are approaching our spine, which we're going to treat like any other set of chain 2 spaces. So from here, chain 4, 1, whoops, woo, hello, whoa, I'm all tangled. Okay, so I've got my 2 singles there. All right, so chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, into the chain 2 space, 2 singles. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Into that next chain 2 space, 2 singles. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next chain 2 space, 2 singles. So looking back, you can see that we're just following suit regardless of where the chain 2 space is. We're just doing our 2 singles followed by a separation of a chain 4 space. So it works, like I said, I didn't lie, it works really fast. Chain 4. Next chain 2 space, 2 singles. Chain 4. In the chain 2 space, 2 singles. Okay, now the reason why I started with just 1 single crochet is because we're going to do the second one to the right of it. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Into this same space that we did our first one, scooch in there with a single crochet, and then slip stitch into the first single crochet that we did. Slip stitch, and then slip stitch into the chain 4 space. And there you go. That is the end of round 4. Okay, so round 5 is the second round of the 2-round repeat. And then it's really just a matter of following suit, doing the same 2 rounds over and over and over again. It's a fabulous thing. So we are in the center spine chain 4 space, as you can see by our marker. So start off by chaining up 2, 1 and 2, add another double crochet, chain 2, 2 doubles in the same space, chain 2, 2 doubles in the same space. And that is our 3 pairs above our 3 pairs for the center spine. From here, next chain 4 space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, and in every chain 4 space until we reach the center spine of the front. So I've got 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, all right, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, and this is a great project if you want to go on autopilot. You know, if you want to watch something on TV, you know, in the background and keep busy at the same time, this is an ideal project. Okay, we're almost there, you know, and it's especially helpful having these stitch markers in place because then you really don't have to pay much attention. So 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 more doubles, okay, now this is the center spine for the front, so it's in this one that we need 3 pairs. So going in with 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. Gotta have those 3 pairs, otherwise you're not going to have an increase. There you go. Okay, then continuing on in the same fashion for the rest of the eyelets down this side, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Two doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, and so on and so forth. And then we're going to do the slip stitch join to finish up round 5. And then you're really just repeating rounds 4 and 5 as many times as you want until your piece is big enough, which is totally subjective. You know, it depends on how large you want it to be. Okay, just a couple more. Two doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Okay. And last, but certainly not least, we have our slip stitch join into the second chain from the bottom in our first double. Scoot right into there with a slip stitch. There we go. Slip stitch into the next double and slip stitch into the chain 2 space. And there you go. Now at this point you could shift your stitch markers up if you want to. Don't if you don't want to. I like having them around though. So that being said, let us do a full repeat, rows 4 and 5, and I think that should be sufficient, don't you? All right, let's keep going. Okie dokie. So row 4 for the repeat. I always say row and round interchangeably. Don't ask me why. Round 4 for the repeat. Going to start off by chaining up 1 and 1 single crochet in the chain space. We'll do the other one on the return pass, so to speak. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space. Chain 4, 2 singles in the next chain 2 space. And we're going to do this all the way around. Also, I think that this project would make a lovely stash buster. Just be sure that you use yarn that is all the same weight and preferably the same fiber content. If it's, acrylic, stick with acrylic. If it's wool, stick with wool. Cotton, stick with cotton. That way you don't have issues with shrinking and drying rates. And make sure that it's the same weight so that you don't have some weird abnormal buckling and warbling of your piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is the center spine. However, because this is not the cluster round, we don't have to worry quite so much. It's in the next round that we have to really focus on our stitch markers, because we're just treating these chain 2 spaces like any other. Chain 4, 2 singles, and so on and so forth. Also, I think this would look great in an ombre. And I think also it would even look nice in a quick change variegated yarn, because it is such a simplistic stitch pattern. As opposed to something like, the butterfly or the pineapple, where you really want the stitch pattern itself to do the shining. So if you had a busy colorway, I really don't think that it would take away from the stitches themselves. My usual rule of thumb is if you have, a very elaborate stitch pattern, you want a very subdued yarn. And if you have a very subdued stitch pattern, you want a more busy and loud speaking colorway. You want a balance. That's my perspective. Okay, and then we have our last one here, because if you have a stitch pattern that is very elaborate and busy, stitch into here, and then we'll do the slip stitch. If you have a pattern that's busy and a yarn that's busy, it's like a conversation where two people are screaming and you can't really hear what's being said. So from here we did our single and then slip stitch into that first single that we did to finish up the round, and then slip stitch into the chain 4 space, and that is the end of round 4 for the repeat. All right, one more to go. Okay, round 5 for the repeat. By now you should be familiar with what we're about to do. And again, we have our stitch marker there, so we need our 3 pairs in this space here. So start off by chaining up 2 for your first double. Another double. So that's 1 pair. Chain 2. 2 more doubles. chain 2, 2 more doubles, and that is our 3 pairs of doubles for the center spine. It's at this point, yeah, I would move my stitch marker up. However, I'm not going to do any more rounds after this. Next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, now as far as which round, I keep doing it, which round you want to end on. Personally, I would suggest end on a round 5 because I think that this creates a more interesting edge as opposed to these chain spaces. The chain spaces, it gives you a much more straight and flush look. However, on the clusters, it's a bit more wavy, a bit more warbly, a bit more roughly, if you will, and I think it looks a little bit more interesting. Personal opinion, take it for what it's worth. 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, okay, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 more doubles, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 more doubles, okay, pull out some more yarn. Okay, now you can see here, this is where we need to do our 3 pairs. So into that chain 4 space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 more doubles, 3 pairs. There we go. Got our 3 pairs, perfect. Then 2 pairs for each space down this side. So 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, okay, a bit more yarn. Next space, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, and this is the last to go. So from here, second chain from the bottom, slip stitch into that first double that we did. There we go. Slip stitch. There we are. Now, if you are ending, you wouldn't need to slip stitch again, but for argument's sake, slip stitch into the next double, and then slip stitch into the next chain 2 space, and then you would keep going, repeating rounds 4 and 5 ad infinitum. But there you go. Now, obviously, this might be good for an American Girl doll, or a small, very small child. But you see the idea of how, with the increase at the front and at the back, that it creates this gorgeous, gorgeous shaping. So yeah, you just keep going, 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 and before you know it, you too can have a peephole poncho. Yeah. Alrighty, my dears, so that's going to conclude today's tutorial on the peephole poncho. Really hope that you liked it, and if you did, please give a little thumbs up button down below. You know that I appreciate your appreciation as always. And in the comments section, let me know what sort of yarn, what sort of colorways. You know me, I'm always curious about your creative journey and your process and everything, and I love hearing from you guys. Yeah. So, hope you enjoyed today, and you know what to do until next time, right? I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now, everybody, and have a great day.